So the Detroit Lions have been off for 3 weeks. We're not officially in the 2025 NFL offseason yet, but the Detroit Lions and other teams can start signing their own players coming up very soon here. Now that the Super Bowl is over, this is kind of like that unofficial start to the new league year, although the new league year begins in about a month from the making of this video. And after what we saw on Super Bowl Sunday from the Philadelphia Eagles, I really have been, it's been kind of a tough 3 weeks for me. And I've really been thinking, did the Detroit Lions lose out on Myles Garrett potentially trading for him? That's if Brad Holmes wanted to do it. Now, I made a video earlier today that so far Brad Holmes has shown me that this is not what he does. And I don't expect anything. I don't expect him to do it at all. I'm going to talk about it because I'm in the business of talking about it, but I don't expect him to do it. What I expect him to do is potentially re-sign Marcus Davenport as a depth piece, maybe go get a Khalil Mack, maybe something like that, a Josh Uche. If he could get, I think even Azeez Ojulari is too rich for his blood. That's what I think. And then he'll build through the draft like he's been doing. And whether or not that proves to be anything, we'll see. We got 6 months before we even talk about watching the Detroit Lions again. But based off what we've heard from Myles Garrett on Radio Row and what the Philadelphia Eagles were able to do yesterday, I'm wondering, did the Detroit Lions lose out on the possibility of Myles Garrett coming to Detroit? If you go back to Radio Row, somebody specifically asked him about 3 teams. That's what we heard. I heard the Washington Commanders come out of a podcaster's mouth. He said, Myles Garrett, that he wouldn't mind playing for them. Then you have the Philadelphia Eagles. I did not hear that. I read a quote that he said he would love to play for them. And then the Washington Commanders, when it comes to the Detroit Lions, the quote was, have you thought about playing for the Detroit Lions? And Myles said, not yet. I don't know how true that is. But I'm wondering yesterday, if I'm Myles Garrett, and I'm really not trying to be a party pooper, y'all, I just have taken the shades off. I've taken the Honolulu blue lenses off, and I am bound by obligation to tell you 100% how I feel. I can't help if you don't like it. I don't know if it's going to be the truth, but it's 100% how I feel. If I'm Myles Garrett, why would I choose to come to Detroit over Washington or Philadelphia? The Philadelphia Eagles, let's take the Philadelphia Eagles, for instance. When the Philadelphia Eagles won yesterday, I said, Myles Garrett is going to go to Philadelphia. They're probably going to lose Josh Sweat and trade for Myles Garrett. If I'm Myles Garrett, do I pick Philadelphia? Why wouldn't I pick Philadelphia? They're the reigning Super Bowl champions. It's almost like everybody trying to go to Kansas City. Now, as far as I can see, the Philadelphia Eagles in cap space are not in the top 14. So they're going to have, from what I'm looking at from Spot Track, I'm looking at a frozen picture here, that they are they're at least 15 or below. The difference is, or the way they could get him is, their biggest cap hit for 2025 is Jalen Hurts, which is at $20 million. That's their biggest 2025 cap hit. That's right around Myles Garrett's salary. I think he's making 18, somewhere around there. So they might not have all of the money, the cap space, but they can get it. They can get it. And if they do, maybe that's one of the only moves they make. Now, they're going to have some people leave in free agency, and that could be a reason why Myles doesn't want to go there. But why would you not want to go to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are consistent? They've been in 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. They've been pretty much the 49ers, then the Eagles. We are just now getting into the upper echelon of teams. I think that we are top 3, but after last night, I don't think we are the class of the NFC. I think we're in the top 3. Now, do I think that the Detroit Lions are all of a sudden not a go-to destination anymore? I don't believe that. But if I'm Myles Garrett and I have to pick a place, why would I not want to go to Philadelphia? You could add, they play outside. He said the cold doesn't bother him. He literally played in Cleveland, so it doesn't really matter. So that's one reason why I think, or a couple reasons I think he could go to Philadelphia. Now you got the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders right now are third in cap space with over $80 million. Top five, New England, Las Vegas, Washington, Arizona Cardinals, the Chicago Bears. The Detroit Lions are eighth, above Minnesota or below Minnesota and the LA Chargers. I could see Myles Garrett honestly going to any one of those teams, including us. San Francisco and Tennessee round out the top 10. Washington Commanders. He was directly asked about them. He directly responded with an affirmative answer. But when it came to the Detroit Lions, you didn't get that same answer. Now, of course, Myles Garrett doesn't have full control over where he goes. I do believe he'll end up in the NFC. And if he does have control, I was convinced a few days ago that just by the power of reason, the Detroit Lions would have to be number one. That was before when I thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to three-peat. But the Philadelphia Eagles didn't just win. They dominated from start to finish. But as far as the Washington Commanders, you've got the up and coming. I mean, they beat us. They beat us. But here is, I think for me, the turning point. And I know it feels like that I'm attacking this guy. I'm not attacking him. But there's no other person that can fix this but Brad Holmes. If I'm Myles Garrett and I've got a choice between the Washington Commanders, I'm looking at their future, where they've been, where they're going, the Philadelphia Eagles, where they've been, where they are, where they're going. And then I'm looking at the Detroit Lions. And I'm saying, okay, I can take a team over the hump. But if it's going to be me and Hutch, what would make me believe as Myles Garrett, the Myles Garrett, that we're going to win it all if I go there? If Brad Holmes doesn't make the necessary move. So if it's just Aiden Hutchinson, Myles Garrett, and very few other moves on that defensive line, what would make Myles Garrett think that the Detroit Lions are the place to be when the Washington Commanders beat us? They've got more money. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, and they can make something happen. What would appeal about the Detroit Lions that would make Myles Garrett choose us over them? I thought about that this morning. It's amazing what happens when the Philadelphia Eagles actually won the Super Bowl, how they won the Super Bowl. It would be different if Kansas City, because if Kansas City would have won, I could have said, well, maybe he can help Philadelphia get over the hump. So I think it was maybe 35-65. If Kansas City won, it was 35%. He could go there. 65, he wouldn't. Now I'm going to flip it around. I think it's 65-35. I think either the Washington Commanders, if Myles Garrett is traded, or the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have him on the team. I think the Lions, honestly, if you look at contention, that they got to be top three. I believe he'll be traded to the NFC. I believe that Myles Garrett will end up on the Philadelphia Eagles or the Washington Commanders. Philly has done it. They're trying to repeat. And until you are no longer the Super Bowl champion, you don't get to do, you are the Super Bowl champion. So no matter what they do, how they start the season, this team started the season 0-2, if I'm not mistaken. They might not have. One of these years they started 0-2. I thought it was this year, because Sirianni was about to get fired. Like, he was talking about getting fired and all. And this team went something ridiculous since the bye week. I think they went into their bye week. They came out. Whatever happened, I can't remember what happened. But why would right now, if I'm Myles Garrett, and I have to really ask myself, are the Detroit Lions a team I want to go to? They have no defensive line. Aleem McNeil will not play week 1. If I'm Myles Garrett, are the Detroit Lions the team I want to play for? Now, it could go a bunch of different ways, too. It could be, we have Zadarius Smith that can talk him into it. We saw him and Hutch talking. But the Philadelphia Eagles winning and their defensive line domination. Did you know that the Philadelphia Eagles did not blitz one time in the Super Bowl? And they pressured Mahomes. They sacked him 6 times, not blitzing. Why would I not want to be part of that defensive line? So for me, if I'm Myles Garrett, I'm not sure the Detroit Lions are the place I want to be. I'm not sure that I move the needle enough that we win it all. I think he does if Brad Holmes does the right thing, but what I think doesn't matter. It's what he thinks and Brad Holmes. So I'm going to put it in the comment section or leave it to the comment section. What do you think? Let's take Brad Holmes out of this. Let's take the Cleveland Browns out of this. If you are Myles Garrett, non-biased, and I know it's hard, but try to be non-biased, would you come to the Detroit Lions? Would the Detroit Lions be the first place you wanted to go? If not, where would it be? So do me a favor, put in the comment section your top 3. If you're Myles Garrett, what are your top 3 destinations? Specifically in the NFC, because I think that he's going to get traded to the NFC. Or you could put any team. Any NFC. So do this. Put top 3 teams in order in the NFC, and then top 3 teams in order, period. Let me know. Not trying to be Derek Downer, party pooper. Not trying to be that guy. But I woke up thinking this morning, and I said, you know what? We can make all the videos we want. We can do all the talking we want. This is up. Fixing this team is in the hands of one man. One man has the power to fix this team. Whether it's Myles Garrett or someone else, one man has the power to fix this team. Dan, there's a reason we don't see Brad during the season. There's a reason we don't see Dan during the offseason that much. This is Brad's time to shine. He puts the team together with some help from Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell coaches the team. But it's primarily Brad's responsibility to say yay or nay, to have the final say on whether this player comes to the Detroit Lions. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. I said it in an earlier video that it feels like the climate is changing from the Detroit Lions from last offseason or the end of last year to now. And I think what it is last year we exceeded expectations. This year we failed to live up to them. And I think a lot of Lions fans have taken a step back. We're still there for the team. We're still going to be there in September, but the excitement we were proud to be where we were. Even though it was devastating, we were proud. This is something we're not proud of. That 15, for all the 15-2 talk that we do, the numbers in everybody's content, everybody's Detroit Lions content is suffering because you guys, to some extent, have checked out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. I might be annoying, man, but I ain't going nowhere.